Come on up. You want to come up? Come on up. Busy. Come on up.
All right, we are live. Welcome to Quarantine Theater When Harry Met Sally. Playing the role of Sally Albright, we have Alexis.
Hello.
In the role of Harry, we have Jeremy.
Yeah.
In the role of Joe, Julian, and Sally's other male suitors, we have Eric. Playing the role of Jess, we have George. Playing the role of Carrie Fisher, Princess Leia / Marie / the BFF. Did everybody want to introduce themselves? Would that be better? Or
You're doing a great
job. You're great.
You just don't want to say my last name, do you?
I don't know everybody's last name is the honest answer.
Fair enough.
All the documentary couples, we have Carly and Martin Hildebrand.
Hello.
All right, let's begin. When Harry Met Sally, an original screenplay by Nora Ephron, Rob Reiner, and Andrew Scheinman. We do not have to read every stage direction. Some people like to, but I'm more of a skip it and get to the great lines part kind of guy. So. All righty, fade in to a documentary with an older couple, a man and woman, who are sitting together on a love seat, looking straight at the camera. The documentary dialogue that follows is meant only as an indication that the movie will use real people, not actors, and we will be hearing their actual stories, which will be similar to the ones indicated here.
I was sitting with my friend Arthur Kornblum in a restaurant. It was a Horn at Hard Dark Cafeteria. They don't have them anymore. And then this girl walked in. And I turned to Arthur and I said, Arthur, see that girl over there? I'm going to marry her. And 2 weeks later, we were married. And 50 years later, and we're still married.
Fade out and into the University of Chicago 10 years ago. A couple is in a clinch. The young man involved is Harry Burns. He's 26, just graduated from law school. He's kissing a young woman named Amanda. She has long, straight hair that she irons. She's about 20. The embrace is fairly melodramatic. They pull back to look back at one another.
I love you.
I love you.
They begin to kiss when another car pulls up. Driving the car is Sally Albright. She's 21 years old. She's very pretty, although not necessarily in an obvious way. She sits there waiting for the kiss to end, but it doesn't. She clears her throat. They don't hear her. She shifts positions and accidentally on purpose hits the car horn, which beeps and startles Amanda and Harry into breaking off their clinch. Amanda sees Sally and she and Harry move to the car.
Oh, hi, Sally. Sally, this is Harry Burns. Harry, this is Sally Albright.
Nice to meet you.
You want to drive the first shift?
No, you're already there. You can start.
Harry looks back at Amanda. Then he starts to put his stuff, a duffel bag, a box of records, etc., into the back seat of the car, where Sally's stuff is. Sally has a suitcases, stereo speakers, etc.
Call me.
I'll call you as soon as I get there.
Call me from the road.
I'll call you before that.
I love you.
I love you.
They kiss once again. Sally sits waiting and waiting. She hits the car horn again, and Harry and Amanda break apart.
Sorry.
I miss you already.
Harry gets into the car, and as it pulls away, he and Amanda exchange one more I love you and I'll call you and goodbyes. They are on a Chicago street as the car heads toward whichever highway is relevant in city traffic. Sally is driving and Harry is in the passenger seat. Harry takes out a bunch of grapes and starts eating.
I have this all figured out. It's an 18-hour trip, which breaks down to 6 shifts of 3 hours each. Or alternatively, we could break it down by mileage. There's a map in the visor. I've marked it to show the locations where we can change shifts. Can you do 3 hours?
Right?
No, I don't like to eat between meals.
Harry spits a grape out to the window, which doesn't happen to be down.
I'll roll down the window. I hope this isn't going to be one of those trips with a lot of long, awkward silences.
Me too.
Why don't you tell me your life story or something? Story of your life.
The story of my life.
We've got 18 hours to kill before we get to New York.
The story of my life isn't even going to get us out of Chicago. I mean, nothing's happened to me yet. That's why I'm going to New York.
So something can happen to you?
Yes.
Like what?
Like I'm going to go to journalism school and become a reporter.
So you can write about things that happen to other people.
That's one way to look at it.
Suppose nothing happens to you. Suppose you live there your whole life and nothing happens to you and you never meet anyone and you never become anything and finally you die. One of those New York deaths where nobody even notices for 2 weeks until the smell drifts into the hallway.
Sally looks at Harry, who am I stuck in this car with? She looks back up the road. As the car turns into the highway,
Amanda mentioned you had a dark side.
That's what drew her to me.
Your dark side?
Yeah, why? Don't you have a dark side? No, you're probably one of those cheerful people who doubts her eyes with the little hearts.
I have just as much of a dark side as the next person.
Oh, really? When I get a new book, I read the last page first. That way, if I die before I finish, I know how it comes out. That, my friend, is the dark side.
It doesn't mean you're deep or anything. I mean, I'm basically a happy person.
So am I.
And I don't see that there's anything wrong with that.
Of course you don't. You're too busy being happy. Do you think about death?
Yes.
Sure you do. A fleeting thought that drifts in and out of the transform of your mind. I spend hours. I spend days.
And you think this makes you a better person?
Look, when the shit comes down, I am going to be prepared and you're not. That is all I'm saying.
And in the meantime, you're going to ruin your whole life waiting for it. What are you going to do in New York?
I don't know. I just graduated from law school, but I never really thought I was going to be a lawyer. I see it as a jumping off point.
You should be a lawyer. The kind that does wills. I think you'd be really good at explaining to people they're going to die.
cut to the highway as the drive continues.
Time.
The car pulls off the road and onto the shoulder. Sally and Harry get out and switch seats. Harry is driving now, and the car pulls away, leaving rubber and dust. The car is now on a surface road heading towards a motel diner complex. Harry is now driving, and Sally is in the passenger seat.
He doesn't want her to stay. That's why he puts her on the plane.
I don't think she wants to stay.
Of course she wants to stay. Wouldn't you rather be with Humphrey Bogart than that other Paul guy?
I don't want to spend the rest of my life in Casablanca married to a man who runs a bar. That probably sounds snobbish to you, but I don't.
You'd rather have a passionless marriage
And be the first lady of Czechoslovakia.
than live with the man you've had the greatest sex of your life with just because he owns a bar and that's all he does?
Yes, and so would any woman in her right mind. Women are very practical, even Ingrid Bergman, which is why she gets on the plane at the end of the movie.
Oh, I understand.
What?
Nothing.
What?
Obviously, you haven't had great sex yet. Table for two.
Right this way.
Yes, I have.
No, you haven't.
It just so happens I have had plenty of good sex.
This doesn't go unheard by the hostess and other diners as Sally walks to the table and sits down.
With whom?
What?
Have you had this good sex?
I'm not going to tell you that.
Fine, don't tell me.
Shell Gordon.
Sheldon? No, I'm sorry. You don't have great sex with Sheldon.
I did too.
No, a Sheldon can do your taxes. If you need a root canal, he's your man. Sheldon says bazinga, but between the sheets is not Sheldon's strong suit. I love you, Sheldon. Do it to me, Sheldon. I can't get enough of you, Sheldon. It doesn't work.
What can I get for you?
I'll have the number 3.
And what kind of bread do you want on that?
Surprise me.
You know what I'd like is the apple pie a la mode.
A la mode? Okay.
But I'd like the pie heated. And I don't want the ice cream on top. I want it on the side. And I'd like strawberry instead of vanilla if you have it. If not, then no ice cream, just whipped cream, but only if it's real. If it's out of the can, then nothing.
Not even the pie?
No, just the pie, but then not heated.
The waitress leaves and Harry stares in disbelief at Sally.
What?
Nothing. So how come you broke up with Sheldon?
How do you know we broke up?
Because if you didn't, you wouldn't be with me. You'd be off with Sheldon, the Wonderschlump.
First of all, I'm not with you. Second of all, it's none of your business why we broke up.
You're right. You're right. I don't want to know.
If you must know, it was because he was very jealous and I had these days of the week underpants.
The judge is ruling on this. Days of the week underpants.
Yes, they had the days of the week on them, and I thought they were sort of funny. And one day he said to me, "You never wear Sunday." He got all suspicious. Where was Sunday? Where had I left Sunday? And I told him, and he didn't believe me.
What?
They don't make Sunday
Why not?
because of God.
And that's what broke you up?
Yes,
How many men have you slept with?
I'm not going to tell you that.
Okay, don't tell me.
2.
You've been with 2 people and you're telling me based on 2 people you know whether or not you've had great sex?
How many of you have?
I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know?
I don't know.
Is it between 0 and 3, 4 and 10, or 10 and 100?
10 and 100.
Is it closer to 10 or closer to 100?
10.
The waitress brings their food. They have finished their meal and the check arrives. Sally figures out her portion of the bill and she notices Harry just staring at her.
What? Do I have?
You're a very attractive person.
Oh, thank you.
Amanda never said you were so attractive.
Maybe she doesn't think I'm attractive.
It's not a matter of opinion. Empirically, you are attractive.
Harry, Amanda is my friend.
So?
So you're going with her.
So?
So you're coming on to me.
No, I wasn't. What? Can a man say a woman is attractive without being a come on? All right, let's just say, for the sake of argument, it was a come on. Okay, what do you want me to do? I take it back. All right, I take it back.
You can't take it back.
Why not?
It's already out there.
Oh, geez, it's already out there. What are we supposed to do now? Call the cops. It's already out there.
Just let it lie, okay?
Right.
They visited the diner. She quickly gets in the car and unlocks his door and he gets in.
Right. Let it lie. That's my policy. Let it lie. So you want to spend the night in a hotel? See what I did there? I didn't let it lie.
Harry,
I said I would, and then I didn't.
Harry,
I went the other way.
Harry,
Yes?
we're just going to be friends, okay?
Yeah, great. Friends. Best thing.
The car starts up and pulls out. The car is continuing at night, and then after a long silence,
You realize, of course, we can never be friends.
What do you mean?
What I'm saying, and this is not a come on in any way, shape, or form, is that men and women can't be friends. The sex part is always going to get in the way.
That's not true. I have a number of men friends, and there's no sex involved.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do.
You only think you do.
You're saying I'm having sex with these men without my knowledge?
No, I'm saying they all want to have sex with you.
I do not.
You too.
I do not.
You too.
How do you know?
Because no man can be friends with a woman he finds attractive. He always wants to have sex with her.
So you're saying a man can be friends with a woman he finds unattractive.
No, you pretty much want to nail them too.
What if they don't want to have sex with you?
Doesn't matter. The sex thing is already out there. So the friendship is ultimately doomed. And that's the end of the story.
Well, I guess we're not going to be friends then.
I guess not.
It's too bad. You were the only person I knew in New York.
dissolved to the New York skyline at dawn. As the car comes over the George Washington Bridge, it is a gorgeous day. Arrive in downtown near Washington Square. The car pulls up and Harry hops out, grabbing his stuff.
Well, it was nice knowing you.
Yeah, it was interesting.
Yeah. Thanks for the ride.
You're welcome.
They nod, and after an awkward moment, Sally holds out her hand and they shake hands.
Well, have a nice life.
You too.
Harry walks off and Sally drives off. Return to the documentary footage. Another older couple are sitting together on the same love seat we saw earlier.
We fell madly in love in high school.
You're a high school sweetheart.
I just said that. Didn't I just say that? But after our junior year, his parents moved away.
But I never forgot her.
He never forgot me.
Her face burned itself on my brain. 34 years later, I see her coming out of Toffanetti's.
We looked at each other, and it was just like not one day had gone by.
She looked as beautiful as when she was 16 years old.
He looked the same. He looked exactly the same.
They're Mormons.
And
And we haven't been apart one day since then. That's it.
not one day.
Ugh.
Fade to the LaGuardia airport during the day. It's 5 years later. Another couple is in a clinch. The woman is Sally, now 26. She looks great. She's a stylish young woman. She's kissing a very attractive man with a beard. Although it's not that easy to see him at this moment, he is Joe. Harry is coming down the hallway of the airline terminal. He's wearing a suit and tie and trench coat. He has a kind of attractive but rumpled demeanor. He notices the couple kissing and goes past them. Then he stops, backs up, and recognizes them. They're still kissing. Harry comes closer, peers at the two of them from slightly too close. It's not easy to see either of their faces. Finally, Sally and Joe become aware that someone is standing nearby. They stop kissing and look at Harry.
Joe, I thought it was you, Harry Burns.
Harry, how are you?
How you doing?
Fine.
I thought it was you. Still with the DA's office?
Yeah, I switched over to the other side. What about you?
I'm working for a small company, political consulting.
Oh, Harry, this is Sally Albright. Harry Burns. We still live in the same building.
Hi. Well, it's great to see you, Joe. See you around.
Harry starts down the long corridor for his plane. Joe and Sally look at each other.
Thank God he couldn't place me. Drove from college to New York with him 5 years ago, and it was the longest night of my life.
What happened?
He made a pass at me, and when I said no, he was going with a friend of mine. Oh God, I can't remember her name. Don't get involved with me, Joe. I'm 26 years old, and I can't even remember the name of a person I was such good friends with that I wouldn't get involved with her boyfriend.
So what happened?
When?
He made a pass at you and you said no.
Oh, I said we could just be friends. At this part I remember, and he said men and women couldn't really be friends. Do you think that's true?
No.
Do you have any women friends? Just friends?
No, but I'll get one if it's important to you.
Amanda Reese, that was her last name. Thank God.
I'll miss you. I love you.
You do?
Yes.
I love you.
Cut to the interior of the airplane. The plane is now in flight en route from New York to Washington. Sally is in the middle seat in a crowded all-coach plane. She has the New York Times on her lap, but she's staring into the middle distance. A little smile is on her face. There's another man on the aisle next to her. In the row in back of her, in the aisle seat, is Harry. His head pops up. Sally starts to read the paper, and the man on the aisle looks up at Harry, who's still looming over them, trying to place Sally. Harry pops down. Sally starts to read again. Harry pops up again. The stewardess comes down the aisle with the drink cart and asks Sally for her drink order.
Do you have Bloody Mary mix?
Yes.
No, wait. Here's what I want. Regular tomato juice, not too much ice, and fill it up to about 3/4, and then add a splash of the Bloody Mary mix. Just a splash. And a little piece of lime, but on the side.
The University of Chicago, right?
Yes.
You look this good at University of Chicago?
No.
Did we ever?
No. No. Jesus. We drove from Chicago to New York the day after graduation.
Would you two like to sit together?
Great.
Harry and the man on the aisle change seats, and Harry sits down next to Sally.
You were a friend of, oh, geez.
Amanda's. I can't believe you can't remember her name.
What do you mean? I can remember her name, Amanda, right? Amanda Rice.
Reese.
Reese, right? That's what I said. Whatever happened to her?
I have no idea.
You have no idea. You were good friends. We didn't make it because you were such good friends.
You went with her.
Was it worth it? The sacrifice for a friend who you haven't even kept in touch with?
Harry, you may not believe this, but I never considered not sleeping with you a sacrifice.
Fair enough. Fair enough. You were going to be a gymnast.
Journalist.
Journalist, yeah, that's what I said. So did you?
I'm a journalist. I work at the news.
Great. And you're with Joe. That's great. You guys been together, what, 3 weeks?
A month. How do you know?
You take someone to the airport, it's clearly the beginning of a relationship. That's why I've never taken anyone to the airport at the beginning of a relationship.
Why?
Because eventually things move on. You don't take someone to the airport. And I never wanted anyone to say to me, how come you never take me to the airport anymore?
It's amazing. You look like a normal person, but actually you're the angel of death.
Are you going to marry him?
We've only known each other a month. Besides, neither one of us is looking to get married right now.
I'm getting married.
You are?
Yep.
You are.
Yep.
Who is she?
Helen Hilson, she's a lawyer. She's keeping her name.
You're getting married.
What's so funny about that?
It's just so optimistic of you.
You'd be amazed what falling madly in love could do for you.
That's wonderful, Harry. It's nice to see you embracing life in this manner.
Besides, you just get to a certain point where you get tired of the whole thing.
What whole thing?
The whole life of a single guy thing. You know, you meet someone, you have the safe lunch, where you decide you like each other enough to move on to the dinner. You go dancing, you do the white man's overbite. Then you go back to her place. You have sex, and the minute you finish, you know what goes through your head? How long do I have to lie here and hold her before I can get up and go home? Is it 30 seconds?
That's what you're thinking? Is that true?
Yeah, all men think that. How long do you like to be held afterwards? All night, right? That's the problem. Somewhere between 30 seconds and all night is your problem.
I don't have a problem.
Yeah, you do.
The flight attendant announces that everyone should fasten their seatbelts in preparation for the landing. As the plane lands, Harry and Sally are now on the moving sidewalk.
You staying over?
Yes.
Would you like to have dinner?
What?
What? Just friends.
I thought you didn't believe men and women could be friends.
When did I say that?
On the ride to New York.
No, I remember. Yes, that's right. They can't be friends. Unless both of them are involved with other people, then they can. This is an amendment to the earlier rule. The two people in a relationship, the pressure of possible involvement is lifted. Although that doesn't work either, because what happens is the other person you're involved with doesn't understand why you need to be friends with the person you're actually friends with. Like it must mean something's missing from your relationship and you have to go outside to get it. And you say, no, it's not true. There's nothing missing from our relationship. The person you're involved with accuses you of secretly attracting the person you're just friends with, which you probably are. Let's face it. Who the hell are we kidding? Which brings us to back to the original rule before the amendment, which is men and women can't be friends. So where does that leave us?
Harry,
Yes, Sally?
goodbye.
Okay.
They look at each other and shake hands. Though they have said goodbye, they are now in that awkward place of still going in the same direction.
I'm going to stop walking for a minute and let you go ahead.
Fade into the documentary footage. Another older couple is sitting on a love seat and looking at the camera.
We got married 50 years ago. We were married 3 years. We got a divorce.
No one got divorced then unless you were miserable. Like now, you get a little upset, you get a little divorce.
So then I married Marjorie.
But you first lived with Barbara.
Right, Barbara. But I didn't marry Barbara. I married Marjorie. And I got a divorce. My brother's a lawyer. I got a rate. Then I married Katie.
The shortest one of them all.
Less than a year. Another divorce. So then I was single. Crammed in a lot of living. I got it out of my system.
Don't forget Roberta.
Right, Roberta.
And then we got married again.
45 years to the day after our first marriage.
But I never married anybody in between. I waited. I knew.
Cut to a New York street 5 years later. Sally is walking down the street to a restaurant like Petaluma. She looks even prettier now. She's wearing a loose blouse, full skirt, and boots. At the New York restaurant, two women, Marie and Alice, are at a table for three. Marie is a dark-haired, dark-eyed beauty. Alice is cute and plump and a married lady. Sally comes in and sits down as the others finish giving their drink orders to the waiter.
Sorry, I'm late. Here's what I want. I want a Campari and soda, but here's how I want it. I want the Campari in a glass with ice and the soda on the side, but in a bottle. I don't want the soda in a glass. I want to mix it myself.
So I looked through his pockets, okay?
Is Alice muted?
Sorry about that. Yes. Marie, why do you look through his pockets?
And do you know what I found?
What?
They just bought a dining room table. He and his wife just went out and spent $1,600 on a dining room table.
Where?
The point isn't where, Alice. The point is he's never going to leave her.
So what else is new? You've known this for 2 years.
You're right. You're right. I know you're right.
Why can't you find someone single? When I was single, I knew lots of nice single men. There must be someone. Sally found someone.
Sally got the last one.
Joe and I broke up
What?
When?
Monday.
You waited 3 days to tell us?
You mean Joe's available?
For God's sake, Marie. Don't you have any feelings about this? She's obviously upset.
I'm not that upset. We've been growing apart for quite a while.
But you were a couple. You were together. You had someone to go places with. You had a date on national holidays.
I just said to myself, you deserve more than this. You're 31 years old.
And the clock,
And the clock is ticking.
The clock doesn't really start ticking until you're 36.
God, you're in such great shape.
Well, I've had a few days to get used to it, and I feel okay.
Good. Then you're ready.
Marie takes out a Rolodex out of her satchel and starts to look through it.
Really, Marie?
How else do you think you do it? I've got the perfect guy.
You go out with him.
I've got someone.
You've got someone else's you've got someone else also has.
I don't happen to find this one attractive, but you might. She doesn't have a problem with chins.
Marie, I'm not ready yet.
I thought you just said you were over him.
I am over him, but I am in a mourning period. Who is it?
Alex Anderson.
You fixed me up with him 6 years ago.
Okay. Ken Darman.
He's been married for over a year.
Really? Married. Wait, I got it.
Look, there's no point in my going out with someone I might really like if I met him at the right time, but who right now has no chance of being anything to me but a transitional man.
Okay, but don't wait too long. Do you remember David Warsaw? His wife left him, and don't move in too fast, and 6 months later he was dead.
What are you saying? I should marry someone right away in case he's about to die?
At least you can say you were married.
I'm saying the right man for you might be out there right now, and if you don't grab him, somebody else will. And you'll have to spend the rest of your life knowing that someone else is married to your husband.
Cut to Shea Stadium during the day. A wave is in progress. It sweeps around the stadium and passes by Harry and his friend Jess, sitting in the second deck, surrounded by Mets fans. It's fall now, and they're both wearing jeans and windbreakers. Harry is despondent.
Did this happen?
Friday, Helen comes home. She says, I don't know if I want to be married anymore. You know, like it's the institution, like it's nothing personal, like it's just something she's thinking about in a kind of casual way. I'm calm. I say, why don't we think about it? Take some time. Don't rush into anything. Next day, she says she's thought about it. She wants a trial separation. She just wants to try it, she says. We can still date, she says. Like this is supposed to cushion the blow. I mean, I got married so I could stop dating. So I don't see where we can still date is a big incentive, since as far as I'm concerned, the last thing you want to do is date your wife. Who's supposed to love you? Which is what I'm saying to her. When it crosses my mind, maybe she doesn't. So I say, don't you love me anymore? You know what she says? I don't know if I've ever loved you.
A wave comes through the crowd.
Oh, that's harsh. You don't bounce back from that right away.
Thanks, Jess.
No, I'm a writer. I know dialogue. That's particularly harsh.
And then she says she just found out that somebody at her office is going to South America and she could sublet his apartment. I can't believe it. I can't believe this. I say, and the doorbell rings, and I could sublet his apartment. The words still in the air. The words are still hanging there in a little balloon, connected like to her mouth and
like a cartoon, yeah.
Yeah. And I get to the door and the movers are there. Now I'm starting to get suspicious and I say, when did you call the movers? She's not answering. I look at the movers and say, when did this lady book you for this gig? And they're standing there, 3 huge guys, right? One of them is wearing a t-shirt that says, don't fuck with Mr. Zero. And I say, when did you make this appointment? And she says, a week ago. And I say, you've known this for a whole week and you didn't tell me? And she says, I didn't want to ruin your birthday.
You're saying Mr. Zero knew you were getting a divorce a week before you did?
Mr. Zero knew.
Jeez.
I haven't told you the bad part.
What could be worse than Mr. Zero knowing?
It's all a lie. She's in love with another guy, some tax attorney. She moved in with it.
How did you find out?
I followed her and stood outside the building.
Oh, Harry, that's so humiliating.
Tell me about it. Standing on the street, the ultimate schmuck. I knew it would happen. The whole time I knew. Even though we were happy, it was just an illusion. One day she'd kick the shit out of me.
Marriages don't break up on account of infidelity. It's just a symptom that something else is wrong.
Oh, really? Well, that symptom is fucking my wife.
Well, at least you got the apartment. What?
Cut to the Shakespeare and Company at day. Sally and Marie are standing in a bookstore in a section called Personal Relationships. A shelf is full of books. Marie is looking at something like Smart Women, Foolish Choices. Sally is looking at something like Safe Sex in Dangerous Times.
So I just happened to see his American Express bill.
What do you mean you just happened to see it?
Well, he was shaving and there it was in his briefcase.
What if he came out and saw you looking through his briefcase?
You're missing the point. I'm telling you what I found. He spent $120 on a nightgown for his wife. I don't think he's ever going to leave her.
No one thinks he's ever going to leave her.
You're right. You're right. I know you're right. Someone
From her book and
staring at you. Personal growth.
I know him. You'd like him. He's married.
Who is he?
Harry Burns. He's a political consultant.
He's cute.
You think he's cute?
How do you know he's married?
Because the last time I saw him, he was getting married.
When was that?
6 years ago.
So he might not be married anymore.
Also, he's obnoxious.
This is just like in the movies. Remember, like in The Lady Vanishes, where she says to him, "You are the most obnoxious man I have ever met."
The most hateful.
And then they fell madly in love.
Also, he never remembers me.
Sally Albright?
Hi, Harry.
I thought it was you.
It is. This is Marie. Was Marie.
Marie is exiting and going downstairs. Sally turns back to Harry.
How you doing?
Fine.
Oh, fine. How's Joe?
Fine. I hear he's fine.
You're not with Joe anymore?
We just broke up.
Oh, gee. That's too bad.
Yeah, well, yeah. What about you?
I'm fine.
How's married life?
Not so good. I'm getting a divorce.
I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. When did this happen?
A couple of weeks ago.
That's right when Joe and I broke up.
Isn't that amazing?
Not really. Everybody in New York breaks up at this time of year.
Maybe it's the pressure of Halloween.
Yeah. You never know what to go as. What happened?
She left me. She fell in love with a tax attorney.
A Sheldon.
Sheldon. Oh, yeah, right. Well, Ira, actually, but it's the same.
I'm sorry, Harry.
Yeah, well, what are you going to do? What happened with you guys?
Cut to a restaurant. Sally and Harry are having coffee or maybe a glass of wine.
When Joe and I started seeing each other, we wanted exactly the same thing. We wanted to live together, but we weren't going to get married because every time everyone we knew got married, it ruined their relationship. They practically never had sex again. It's true. It's one of the secrets no one ever tells you. I would sit around with my girlfriends who had kids. Well, actually, my one girlfriend who had kids, Alice, and she would complain about how she and Gary never did it anymore. She didn't even complain about it now that I think about it. She just said it matter-of-factly. They were up all night. They were both exhausted all the time. The kids just took every sexual impulse they had out of them. And Joe and I used to talk about it. and say, we're so lucky. We have this wonderful relationship. We can have sex on the kitchen floor and not worry about the kid walking in. We can fly off to Rome on a moment's notice. And then one day I was taking Alice's little girl for the afternoon. I promised to take her to the circus, and we were in a cab playing I Spy. You know, I spy a lamppost, I spy a mailbox. And she looked out the window, and there was this man and this woman with 2 little kids. And the man had one of the kids on his shoulders, and Alice's little girl said, I spy a family. And I started to cry. You know, I just started crying, and I went home and I said, the thing is, Joe, we never do fly off to Rome on a moment's notice.
And the kitchen floor.
Not once. It's this very cold and hard Mexican ceramic tile. Anyway, we talked about it for a long time, and I said, this is what I want. And he said, well, I don't. And I said, I guess it's over. And he left. And the truth is, I feel really fine. I am over him. I'm really over him. That was it for him. That was the most he could give. And every time I think about it, I'm more and more convinced I did the right thing.
You sound really healthy.
Yeah.
Cut to a 77th Street walk at dusk. Harry and Sally are walking together and the sun is setting.
At least I got the apartment.
Everyone says that to me. What's so hard about getting an apartment? You read the obituaries. You find out who died. You go see the doorman. You tip them. They should put the 2 sections together, real estate and obituaries. Mr. Klein died today, leaving a wife, 2 children, and a spacious 3-bedroom apartment with a wood-burning fire. When we first met, I really didn't like you that much.
I didn't like you.
You did too. You were just so uptight. Now you're much softer.
I hate that kind of remark. I just hate it. It looks like a compliment, but really it's an insult, you know?
Okay. You're still as hard as nails.
I just didn't want to sleep with you, so you had to write it off to a character flaw instead of dealing with the possibility that it might have something to do with you.
What's the statute of limitations on apologies?
10 years?
Ooh, I can just get in under the wire.
Would you like to have dinner with me sometime?
Are we becoming friends now?
Well, I guess we could.
A woman friend. This is amazing. You may be the first attractive woman I've not wanted to sleep with in my entire life.
That's wonderful, Harry.
They continue to walk off as we cut to another documentary couple, a series of quick cuts of different older couples, each of them sitting on a love seat and looking at the camera.
She was wearing a white dress with little daisies on it,
He had a Borsino hat,
bright red coat with black buttons.
a blue suit. He told me after it was the first suit he got from a real tailor.
In her hair, she had a white flower, a camellia.
Cut to a tight shot of one of those toy felt birds that somehow is able to miraculously keep dunking its beak into a glass of water. Fade back wider to reveal Harry is sitting in his office staring blankly at this ornithological phenomenon. As Harry stares, we hear the sound of a phone ring. It is picked up by Sally.
Hello?
You sleeping?
No, I was watching Casablanca.
Channel, please.
11.
Got it.
As Harry continues to stare at the bird, we hear a few lines of dialogue from Casablanca. Of all the gin joints and all the towns and all the world, she walks in a mind. Cut to Harry's apartment. Harry is trying to hang a picture in what is an otherwise virtually empty apartment. He checks the picture for placement against the wall.
Now you're telling me you'd be happier with Victor Laszlo than with Humphrey Bogart?
When did I say that?
When we drove to New York.
Never said that. I would never have said that.
Harry gives the nail one more tap and a big chunk of plaster comes out of the wall. Harry surveys it, then decides to leave the picture against the wall on the floor. Return to Harry's apartment. Harry is now sitting in his one chair trying to read a book. He has a thermometer in his mouth. He can't concentrate. He keeps reading the same paragraph over and over. Finally, he flips to the last page and reads.
How have you been sleeping?
Not great. Maybe I'm coming down with something. Last night I was up at 4 a.m. watching Leave It to Beaver in Spanish. Buenos dias, Senor Cleaver. Donde está Wallace Theodore? I'm not well.
Throughout the following, we see a series of shots showing Sally typing in her office, Sally shopping, Sally tap dancing, Sally picking up groceries. Sally is now fixing dinner and chopping and setting the table.
Went to bed at 7:30 last night. Haven't done that since the 3rd grade.
That's the good thing about depression. You get your rest.
I'm not depressed.
Okay, fine. Oh, put on 23. It's the nude talk show.
How can you watch that?
What? You don't find it interesting watching naked people discussing inside trading?
I guess my scope is limited. ESPN.
I'm there.
Let's deal with arena football.
What? It's good. The catch is on. There's no telling what it could lead. Arena golf, arena yachting.
Cut to a movie theater. Harry and Sally are walking out of the movies and down the street.
Do you still sleep on the same side of the bed?
I did for a while, but now I'm pretty much using the whole bed.
God, that's great. I feel weird when just my leg wanders over. I miss her.
Cut to a Chinese restaurant. Sally is now going through a very detailed ordering session. The waiter is trying to keep up.
I don't miss him. I really don't.
Not even a little?
You know what I miss? I miss the idea of him.
Maybe I only miss the idea of Helen. No, I miss the whole Helen.
Now we are at a street at day. Harry and Sally are walking along. Sally spots a mailbox and stops, opens her purse and pulls out a stack of mail. She proceeds to place the mail in the box one letter at a time, checking to see that each letter has safely entered the box. And Harry stands impatiently waiting.
I found this book that gives some really good tips on how to enjoy being alone.
Like what?
Like never eat standing up. Make a nice meal for yourself and sit at a table.
Sounds good. As soon as I get a table, that's exactly what I'll do.
Harry impulsively grabs the remaining letters and opens them and shoves them into the box, then hurls her off. Fade out to the last scene of Casablanca. We are now in Sally's bedroom at night. Sally is in bed on the phone watching Casablanca again and talking to Harry. Harry is in bed on the phone watching Casablanca, and we cut back and forth using a split screen.
Ingrid Bergman. Now she's low maintenance.
Low maintenance?
Yeah, there's two kinds of women, high maintenance and low maintenance.
And Ingrid Bergman is low maintenance?
And LM, definitely.
Which one am I?
Oh, the worst one. You're high maintenance, but you think you're low maintenance.
I don't see that.
You don't see that? I'll start with the house salad, but don't put the regular dressing on it. I'll have the balsamic vinegar and oil instead, but on the side. And then the salmon with mustard sauce, but I want the sauce on the side. On the side is like a very big thing for you.
Well, I just want it the way I want it.
Right. High maintenance.
Cut to Bogart saying, Louis, this could be the beginning of a beautiful friendship.
Ooh, best last line of a movie ever.
The movie ends.
I'm definitely coming down with something. Probably a 24-hour tumor they're going around.
You don't have a tumor.
How do you know?
If you're so worried, go see a doctor.
No, he'll just tell me it's nothing.
Are you going to be able to sleep?
If not, I'll be okay.
What do you do?
I'll stay up and moan. Let me practice now. Hmm. Hmm.
Good night, Harry.
Good night, Sally. Hmm. Hmm.
Sally are walking past a Henry Moore sculpture.
I dreamed I was making love, and the Olympic judges were watching as usual. I nailed the compulsory, so this is it, the finals. I get a 9.8 from the Canadian, I get a perfect 10 from the American, and my mother, dressed as an Eastern German, gives me a 5.6. You think there's anything? You think there's any meaning to that?
Now at Central Park Harbor.
Basically, it's the same one I've had since I was 12.
What happens?
It's very embarrassing.
Don't tell me.
Okay, there's this guy.
What does he look like?
I don't know. He's sort of faceless.
A faceless guy. Okay, then what happens?
He rips off my clothes.
And then what?
That's it.
That's it? A faceless guy rips off your clothes and that's the sex fantasy you've been having since you were 12? Exactly the same?
Sometimes I vary it a little,
Which part of it do you vary?
what I'm wearing.
Cut to the Metropolitan Museum at dusk.
I have decided for the rest of the day we're going to talk like this.
Like this?
No, like repeat after me.
Repeat after me.
May I have some pepper?
May I have some pepper?
Pepper,
Pepper.
pepper,
Pepper.
pepper. May I have some pepper on my paprikash?
May I have some pepper on my paprikash?
I think I'll have some tomato juice.
I think I'll have some tomato juice.
You, they skip. Waiter, there's too much pepper on my paprikash.
Waiter, there is too much pepper on my paprikash.
But I would like to partake in your pecan pie.
But I would like to partake in your pecan pie.
Pecan pie. Pecan pie.
Pecan pie.
Do you want to go to the movie tonight?
Do you want to go to the movie tonight?
No, not to answer. Not to question the answer. Do you want to go to the movies tonight?
Oh, I'd love to, Harry, but I can't.
What do you have? A hot date?
As a matter of fact, I do.
Really?
I was gonna tell you, but I don't know. I felt strange about it.
Why?
I don't know. We've been so.
Hey, it's fine with me. We're friends. I think it's great you have a date.
You sure?
Sure. Is that what you're wearing?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Why?
I think you should wear skirts more. You look really good in skirts.
You do?
Yeah.
You know, Harry, you should get out there too.
Oh, no, I'm not good for anybody right now. Oh, no, I'm not ready.
It's time.
No, I can't.
You should.
I'm not good for anybody right now. Maybe I will.
Cut to Harry's apartment. Harry and Sally are unrolling a new.
It was the most uncomfortable night of my life.
The first date back is always the toughest.
You only had one date? How do you know it won't get worse?
How much worse can it get than finishing dinner, having him reach over, pull a hair out of my head, and start flossing with it at the table?
You're talking dream date compared to my horror.
It's got to go this way.
It started out fine. She was a very nice person, and we were just talking at this Ethiopian restaurant she wanted to go to. I was making some jokes like, I didn't know they had food in Ethiopia. This will be quick. We'll order 2 empty plates and leave. Nothing, not even a smile. So I downshift into small talk, and I ask her where she went to school, and she says Michigan State. It reminds me of Helen. And all of a sudden, I'm in the middle of this massive anxiety attack, and my heart's beating like a wild man, and I'm sweating like a pig.
Hello into Michigan State?
No, she went to Northwestern, but they're both Big Ten schools. I was so upset I had to leave the restaurant.
Harry, I think it takes a long time. It might be months before we're actually able to enjoy going out with someone new.
Yeah.
And maybe even longer before we'll be able to go to bed with someone new.
Oh, I went to bed with her.
You went to bed with her?
Yeah.
Oh.
Is this too green?
Cut to the batting cage in Queens during the day. Harry and Jess have their bats in hand as the machine waits for them to put into quarters.
I don't understand this relationship.
What do you mean?
You enjoy being with her.
Yes.
You find her attractive,
Yes.
and you're not sleeping with her.
No.
Well, what are you afraid of? You're afraid to let yourself be happy.
Come on, why can't you give me credit for this? This is a big step for me, Jess. Having a relationship with a woman that doesn't involve sex. I've never been able to do this. I feel like I'm growing.
Enter 2 9-year-olds who are waiting to use the batting cage and are watching Harry and Jess just stand there.
Are you finished batting?
I got a whole pocket full of quarters and I was here first, okay?
You were not.
Was 2.
We're not.
Was 2. Little creep. Where was I?
You were growing.
Yes. It's very freeing and I can say anything to her.
Are you saying you can say things to her you can't say to me?
No, it's just different. It's a whole different perspective. I get a woman's point of view on things. She tells me about the men she goes out with, and I can talk to her about the woman I see.
You tell her about other women?
Yeah, like the other night, I made love to a woman, and it was so incredible, I took her to a place that wasn't human. She actually meowed.
You made a woman meow?
Yes, that's the point. I can say things like this to her. And the great thing is, I don't have to lie because I'm not always thinking about how to get into bed with her. I can just be myself.
You made a woman meow?
Cut to a Carnegie delicatessen. Harry and Sally are each about to eat a large pastrami sandwich.
So what do you do with these women? Just get up out of bed and leave?
Sure.
Explain to me how you do it. What do you say?
I have an early morning, or an early haircut, or an early squash game.
You don't play squash.
They don't know that. They just met me.
It's disgusting.
I know. I feel terrible.
I am so glad I never got involved with you. I just would have ended up being some lady you had to get out of bed and leave at 3 in the morning and go clean your enderons,
Yeah, that's it.
and you don't even have a fireplace. Not that I would know this.
And iron. Sorry.
Like, what is
Why are you getting so upset? This isn't about you.
Yes, it is. You are a human affront to all women, and I am a woman.
Look, I don't feel great about it, about this, but I don't hear anybody complaining.
Of course not. You're out the door too fast.
I think they have an okay time.
How do you know?
What do you mean, how do I know? I know.
Because they.
Because they
How do you know they're really.
fake orgasms.
It's possible.
Get out of here.
Why? Most women at one time or another have faked it.
Yeah, well, they haven't faked it with me, okay?
How do you know?
Because I know.
Oh, right. I forgot. You're a man.
What's that supposed to mean?
Nothing. It's just that all men are sure it never happens to them, and all women at one time or another have done it. You do the math.
You don't think I can tell the difference?
No.
Get out of here.
Sally stares at Harry, and a seductive look comes to her face. Slowly, she begins.
Ugh. Oh. Oh.
Are you all right?
Oh. Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh. Oh. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Oh. Oh. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Oh. Yeah. Oh. Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh. Oh. Yeah. Yes. 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 Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Oh. Oh.
I'll have what she's having.
Cut to 96th Street.
Well, thank you. I practiced.
It's Christmas in New York. Sally and Harry are bundled up against the cold and are standing at the Christmas tree. Sally finally chooses one and pays for it. She and Harry pick it up together, one holding the top and the other the bottom, and start to carry it to Sally's. In Sally's kitchen, Sally has a pastry tube in her hands, and she's sitting at the table writing names on Christmas tree cookies with her friend, Alice, and Alice's 5-year-old daughter, Amy.
His name was Raymond Bradley. Don't even bother committing it to memory.
I love hearing about horrible dates. What happened?
He has an air collection. Let me have your hand.
Amy puts her hand out and as if she was going to be manicured, and Sally decorates her nails with icing.
An air collection?
Yeah, he collects air. He has all these mason jars that are labeled. They commemorate important dates in history, like the March on Washington and the day the Mets won the World Series.
He was at these events?
No, whenever something important happens, he just goes outside, opens up a mason jar, scoops up some air, caps it, and labels it.
I don't see why you don't get involved with your friend Harry.
Because that's just it. We're friends.
But if you could be more.
No,
He's what?
he's a mess.
Then why are you making a cookie for him?
He's a nice mess.
Cut to a New Year's Eve party. A band is playing and Harry and Sally are dancing. Harry dips her.
I really want to thank you for taking me out tonight.
Forget it. And next year, if neither one of us is seeing somebody, you got a date.
It's a deal.
They dance. He glances at Sally for a split second when we see the beginning of something, an inkling, a little tender moment.
Do you want to go out, get some air?
If you do. Do you think the fact that we're friends is keeping us from finding someone?
Yes. So I think we should stop being friends, go home right now and make love.
You don't mean that. You know you don't.
And now we hear 10, 9, 8.
Hey,
Happy New Year! Everyone kisses. And even Harry and Sally kiss. Very awkward. Should it be platonic? Should it be more? They break, and it is slightly uncomfortable.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Cut to the documentary footage where another series of quick cuts on different older couples, each of them sitting on a love seat and looking at the camera.
My mother wanted me to meet him. She knew his mother from church.
No, it was my brother who thought of it.
Well, my brother said, there's a new man at the office. He's very tall.
She was going out with my friend, Michael. He brought her to my sister's wedding,
So we were supposed to meet at his brother's wedding.
my cousin's wedding.
But we didn't because his brother didn't marry that girl. Remember her, the one from the telephone company? My Aunt Tess called one night. She just rented the spare room to a nice young man, a dentist.
I was going out with her sister. I liked her sister all right, but then I saw her.
So then one day we were all at the beach,
Jones Beach.
Rockaway Beach, and we met.
Return to West Broadway near a restaurant. Sally and her friend Marie are walking down the street on their way to the restaurant.
You sent flowers to yourself?
$60 I spent on this big stupid arrangement of flowers, and I wrote a card that I planned to leave out in front of the table where Arthur would just happen to see it.
What did the card say?
Please say yes. Love, Jonathan.
And did it work?
He didn't even come over. He forgot some charity thing his wife was the chairman of. He's never gonna leave her.
Of course he isn't.
You're right. You're right. I know you're right. Where is this place?
Somewhere in the next block.
I can't believe I'm doing this.
Look, Harry is one of my best friends, and you are one of my best friends. And if by some chance you two hit it off, we could all still be friends instead of drifting apart the way you do when you get involved with someone who doesn't know your friends.
You and I haven't drifted apart since I started seeing Arthur.
If Arthur ever left his wife and I actually met him, I'm sure you and I would drift apart.
He's never gonna leave her.
Of course he isn't.
You're right. You're right. I know you're right.
Cut to West Broadway. Harry and his friend Jess.
I hate myself for letting you talk me into this. You know, I finally got into a place in my life where I'm comfortable with the fact that it's just me and my work. She's so great. Why aren't you taking her around?
How many times do I have to tell you? We're just friends.
So you're saying she's not that attractive?
No, I told you she was attractive.
But you also said she had a good personality.
She does have a good personality. What?
When someone's not attractive, they're always described as having a good personality.
Look, if you ask me what she looks like, I'd say she has a good personality. That means she's not attractive. But just because I happen to mention that she has a good personality, she could be either. She could be either. She could be not attractive with a good personality or attractive with a good personality.
Which one is she?
Attractive.
But not beautiful, right?
Cut to the interior of the restaurant. Harry, Jess, Sally, and Marie are at the table. A waiter has brought them drinks.
Oh, really?
Where are you from?
South Orange.
Haddonfield.
I've never been to Haddonfield.
It's nice.
I'm sure it's great.
They look at each other, then at their menus.
So what are you going to order?
I'm going to start with the grilled radicchio.
Jess, salad is a great order. It's not just that she always picks the best thing on the menu. She orders it in such a way that it comes out in a way the chef had no idea it could be.
I think restaurants have become too important.
I agree. Restaurants are to people in the 80s what theater was to people in the 60s. I read that in a magazine.
I wrote it.
You did? I never quoted anything from a magazine in my life. That's amazing. Don't you think that's amazing? And you wrote it.
I also wrote pesto is the quiche of the 80s.
Stop it. Really? I read it in the TWA in-flight magazine.
The ambassador.
The issue with the picture of the two people at a table in a restaurant just like this.
Very pristine.
Like a hospital.
Nobody's ever quoted me back to me.
Harry and Sally look on as Marie and Jess start to chatter. Cut to the restaurant as Harry and Sally, Jess and Marie come out of the restaurant.
That was a great meal. I'm stuffed. You guys want to walk a little?
Sure.
Yeah.
West Broadway at night. They are walking up the avenue. All four of them are in a row, ad-libbing about the meal, what a nice night it was. They walk past a shoe store and Marie suddenly yanks Sally over, ostensibly to look at the shoes.
Sally, do you like him?
Harry, yeah, he's nice, but how do you feel about Jess?
Seems okay. I couldn't really get a sense of.
You think you'd go out with him?
I don't know. I mean,
Because I feel very comfortable with him.
you want to go out with Jess?
Would it be okay with you?
Sure. I'm just worried about Harry. He's very sensitive and he's going through a rough period, so don't reject him right now, you know?
Oh no, I wouldn't. I totally understand.
Cut to West Broadway. Harry and Jess are apparently in the midst of an identical conversation.
If you don't think you're going to call Marie, do you mind if I call her?
Well, no. But for tonight, you shouldn't. Sally's very vulnerable. And I mean, you can call Marie. It's fine in a week, after a decent interval. But don't make any moves tonight.
Fine, no problem. I wasn't thinking about tonight.
Women join them.
Well, I don't feel like walking anymore. I think I'll get a cab.
I'll go with you.
Great. Taxi.
The cab screeches to a halt and Jesse and Marie get in, leaving Sally and Harry on the curb.
Haagen-Dazs?
Bruising Glouge.
Steve's.
Return to the documentary footage. Another couple.
But he didn't pay any attention to me that day. He was hanging around a fancy schmancy girl named Rebecca Draper. And I didn't like him.
And I didn't like her. That's the truth.
Well, 6 months later, though, we met again at a Spanish Civil War rally.
And the rest is history.
Yeah. Who meets that?
It was the 30s. It's supposed to apply the 30s when the Spanish Civil War was.
It's a good cut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Return to the sharper image. One of those places with gifts for people who have everything. Harry and Sally are browsing through. There's a remote-controlled blimp, a giant Swiss Army knife, etc.
They've got great stuff here. Sorry.
We're never going to find anything here. We should have gone to the plant store.
Here. The perfect thing. Stop the presses. Everyone needs one of these.
He turns on one of those machines that allows you to sing to a backup vocal track.
Karaoke machine?
Oh, this is good. You know the song. Chicks and ducks and geese better scurry when I take you out in Missouri. When I take you out in Missouri, when the fringe on top. Watch that fringe and see how it flutters.
When I drive them high step gutters, no deep folks will peek through shutters and their eyes will pop. The wheels are yellow, the upholstery's brown, the dashboard's genuine leather.
The
Doesn't matter.
As she
It's
stops.
my voice, isn't it? You hate my voice. I have a terrible voice. I know. Joe hated it. Every time I would sing something, he would say, please don't sing.
It's Helen.
Helen?
It's Helen. She's right there, coming right at us.
The backup vocal continues as Helen, accompanied by a tall, attractive man named Ira, approaches.
How are you, Harry?
Fine.
This is Iris Stone. Harry Burns.
Ira.
It's very awkward.
Oh, I'm sorry, Sally Albright. This is Sally Albright, Helen Hilson, and
Hi.
Ira.
Nice to
Hi.
meet you. Well, see you.
Yeah, bye, Ira.
You okay?
I'm perfect. She looked weird. She looked very weird. Didn't you think she looked weird?
I've never seen her before.
Trust me, she looked weird. Her legs looked heavier too. Didn't you think she's retaining water?
Harry.
What? The woman saved everything.
Cut to a plant shop. Sally is paying for a plant, and Harry is just staring blankly into a ficus.
You sure you're okay?
I'm fine. It had to happen at some point. In a city of 8 million people, you're bound to run into your former wife. So it happened, and now I'm fine. I mean, it was like a catharsis. I looked death in the face and shook its hand, and now I feel great. I really feel okay.
Cut to Jess and Maria's apartment, a nice West Side's floor through with a beautiful fireplace and a great deal of furniture. Maria and Jess are in sneakers, jeans, baggy shirts, etc. Sally oohs and ahs about the apartment, the paint job, etc. There are a few unpacked boxes, some books, etc.
It works for me. It says home to me. It works.
Okay, we'll let Harry and Sally be the judge. What do you think of it?
Marie points to a large wagon wheel that's been made into a coffee table.
Nice.
Case closed.
Of course he thinks it's nice. He's a guy. Sally. See?
What's so awful about it?
It's so awful that there is no way to begin to explain what is so awful about it.
I don't object to any of your things.
Look, if we had extra rooms, you could put it in there with all your things, including your bar stools, and I would never have to see it.
You don't like my bar stools.
Harry, we now see, has sat down in a lone chair by the window and is staring out like a forlorn figure in a night.
Harry, someone has to be on my side.
I'm on your side. I'm just trying to help you have good taste.
I have good taste.
Everyone in the world thinks they have a sense of humor, a good sense of humor, don't they all?
You start out like this. We started out like this, Helen and I. We had blank walls. We hung things. We looked at watches, and you know what happened? 6 years later, you wind up saying, "Sorry," with the fringe on top in front of Ira.
Harry, I know you're upset, but do we have to talk about this right now?
What's wrong with right now? It's a perfect time to talk about this. I just want them to see. The realities of what this leads to. Everything's fine. Everybody's in love. Everybody's happy. And before you know it, you're screaming at each other about who owns this stereo. Someday you'll be fighting over this dish. I mean it. Put your name in the books now while you're unpacking them before they get all mixed up together and you can't remember who's who. Because someday, believe it or not, you're going to be fighting over who's going to get this coffee table, this Roy Rogers stupid wagon wheel coffee table.
I thought you liked it.
I was being nice.
Harry slams out the door.
He just bumped into Helen.
I want you to know that I will never want this wagon coffee table.
Outside of Jess and Maria's apartment, Harry is pacing in front of the stoop. Sally comes down.
I know. I shouldn't have done it.
Harry, you have to find a way of not expressing every feeling you have every moment you have them.
Oh, really?
Yes, there are times and places for things.
Well, when you're giving your next lecture series in social graces, let me know. I'll sign up.
You don't have to get angry about it.
I think I'm entitled to a little anger when I'm being told how to live my life by Miss Hospital Corners.
You're about to cross the line, Harry.
So what? Is that the end of the world, crossing the line? You know what your problem is? You stand too far behind the line. I don't even think you see the line from where you're standing.
What was that supposed to mean?
I mean, nothing bothers you. You never get upset about anything.
Don't be ridiculous.
What? You never get upset about Joe? I'd never see it back up on you. How is that possible? Don't you experience any feelings of loss?
I've experienced my loss. I've had my mourning period. I'm done with it.
What mourning period? 1 hour in Bloomingdale's? You bought a pocketbook and heartbreak flew right out the window.
I don't have to take this from you.
If you're so over Joe, why haven't you been seeing anyone?
I see people.
See people? Let me ask you something. Have you slept with one person since you broke up with Joe?
What the hell does that have to do with anything? That will prove I'm over Joe because I fuck somebody? Harry, you're going to have to move back to New Jersey because you've slept with everybody in New York, and I don't see that turning Helen into a faint memory for you. Besides, I'll make love to someone when it's making love, not the way you do it, like you're out for revenge or something.
Are you finished now?
Yes.
And can I ask you something? Can I say
Yes.
something? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Do snapping turtles really snap? Is there an audible snap? Do they?
Harry.
Sally makes a locking lip motion. As they walk back into the house, Harry starts to speak, and Sally makes the locking gesture again. They walk back up the steps and into the house. In Jess and Marie's apartment, it's all furnished now, very comfortable, not lavish. We are playing a game of win, lose, or draw is in progress. Sally's team consists of Harry, Alice, and Jess. Emily, Harry's date, is snuggled up against him. Alice's husband, Gary, Marie, and Julian, Sally's date, are part of the other team. Sally is feverishly drawing what is supposed to be a baby.
It's a monkey. It's a monkey. Monkey see, monkey do. An ape going ape.
It's a baby.
Planet of the Apes.
Planet of the Apes. She already said it's a baby. How about Planet of the Dopes?
What doesn't look like a baby?
30 seconds.
Sally has now drawn what looks like arrows on lines coming out of a mouth.
Big mouth. Big
Big
baby.
baby.
Baby
Martha
spit.
Ray has a baby.
Spit out a baby. Baby bear.
Baby burp. Burp the baby.
Baby
ape.
don't mean maybe.
Baby ape.
Will you forget about the ape? It's not an ape.
A baby fish mouth.
10 seconds.
Crying baby. Feed the baby. Baby food.
The baby's crying because it's wet and needs to be changed. It's an unhappy baby. It's a
Ding ding. That's up. That's time's up.
Baby talk.
Baby talk. What's that? That's not a saying.
oh, and baby fish mouth is sweeping the nation.
Final score, our team 110, you guys 60.
That was a lot of fun. I thought you did great, hon.
Anybody for coffee?
I'll help you.
It never looked like a baby to me.
Where's the bathroom?
Down the hall to the right.
Emily gives Harry a kiss as she heads away. Sally notices this as Julian, Alice, and Gary recap the game.
Jess, you were going to show me the cover of your new book.
Yeah, it's in the den.
As they go off, Sally and Marie are in the kitchen getting the coffee.
Emily's a little young for Harry, don't you think?
In the den.
Does Julian seem a little snuffy to you? Stuffy?
She's young, but look what she's done.
What has she done? She makes desserts.
In the den.
He's a good guy. You should talk to him, get to know him.
He's too tall to talk.
Kitchen.
Not just desserts. She makes 3,500 chocolate mousse pies a week.
Emily is Aunt Emily?
The den.
He took us to a Mets game last week. It was great.
Oh, went to a Mets game?
Yeah, it was a last minute thing.
But Sally hates baseball.
Harry doesn't even like sweets.
Julian's great.
I know, he's a grown-up. I've never been with a grown-up.
Emily seems terrific.
Yeah. Of course, when I asked her where she was when Kennedy was shot, she said Ted Kennedy was shot.
No.
Cut to Harry's bedroom at night. Harry is in bed reading, trying not to look at the last page, but finally he can't help himself. He flips to the last page. When the phone rings, he reaches for the phone and answers it.
Hello.
Are you alone?
Yeah, I was just finishing a book.
Could you come over?
What's the matter?
He's getting married.
Julian?
No, Joe.
Head to Sally's apartment. Harry comes out of the elevator in a hurry and rings Sally's bell. Sally opens the door. She's wearing sweatpants and a sweatshirt. She looks terrible. A big red nose. She's crying.
Come on in. I'm sorry to call you so late.
It's okay.
I need a Kleenex. He just called me up. Just wanted to see how you were. Fine. How are you? Fine. His secretary's on vacation. Everything's backed up. He's got a big case in Newark. Blah, blah, blah. I'm sitting on the phone thinking, I am over him. I'm really over him. I can't believe I was ever remotely interested in any of this. And then he said, I have some news. She works in his office. She's a paralegal. Her name is Kimberly. He just met her. She's supposed to be his transitional person. She's not supposed to be the one. And all this time I've been saying he didn't want to get married. The truth is, he didn't want to get married to me. He didn't love me.
If you could have him back right now, would you take him back?
No. But why didn't he want to marry me? Why didn't he love me? What's the matter with me?
Nothing.
I'm difficult.
You're challenging.
I'm too structured. I'm completely closed off.
Yeah, but in a good way.
No, I drove him away. And I'm gonna be 40.
When? In 8 years.
But it's there. It's just sitting there like some big dead end. It's not the same for men. Charlie Chaplin had babies when he was 73.
Yeah, but he was too old to pick him up. Come here. Come here. It's going to be all right. You'll be okay.
I'm making a mess on your sweater.
That's all right. Wasn't one of my favorites anyway.
Harry holds her. He gives her a kiss and starts to break the hug.
I'll make some tea.
Harry, could you hold me a little longer?
Sure.
Harry holds her. After a beat, Sally looks up at him, almost searching for something. Finally, she kisses him. A hungry, needy kiss. Harry is caught slightly off guard. He turns the kiss, and as they begin to passionately up to Sally's bedroom sometime later. They have made love. Both of them are lying in bed. Sally is in Harry's arms. Sally has a smile on her face, and Harry is staring straight ahead.
You comfortable?
Mm-hmm.
You want something to drink or something?
No, that's okay.
Well, I'm gonna get up for some water, so it's no trouble.
Okay. Water.
Sally is at the sink running water. A little smile breaks through. In the bedroom, Harry is lying in Sally's bed, still staring straight ahead. The room is stuffed with an animal, has a stuffed animal of some sort, maybe Sally's old teddy bear, and a pink quilt. Harry is petrified. Sally comes back from the kitchen with ice water, and Harry is sitting up in bed with the light on, looking through a box of index cards. Sally gets back into bed with him.
You have all, you can know someone a long time, but until you go to bed with them, you don't really know they have all their videotapes and advertising on index cards. Thanks.
Do you want to watch something?
No, not unless you do.
No, that's okay. So, do you want to go to sleep?
Sure.
Are you comfortable?
Sure.
It's a very hard mattress.
I like hard mattresses.
Do you want to turn off the light?
Sure.
Good night, Harry.
Good night, Sally.
In the night, Sally's eyes are open and we hold on her. She closes them and Harry's open. Sally is fast asleep at 4:06 a.m. with Harry wide awake, staring at the digital clock. At 6 a.m., Sally is still asleep and the clock now says 5:59 a.m. Sally wakes up and sees the other half of the bed empty. Where's Harry? She turns over and sees him getting dressed.
Where are you going?
I gotta go. I have to go home and change from yesterday's clothes into today's clothes, and then I have to go to work. And so do you. And after work, I would like to take you out to dinner if you're free. Are you free?
Yes?
Fine. I'll call you later.
Fine.
Harry gives her a little kiss and walks out. We hold on Sally as the door slams. In Jess and Marie's apartment, 2 phones are on either side. Jess and Marie are asleep. The phone on Marie's side starts to ring. Marie and Jess both wake up and look at the clock. It rings again. Ring.
Yours.
Hello?
I'm sorry to call so early.
Are you all right?
I did something terrible.
No one I know would call it this hour.
What did you do?
No one I know would call it this hour.
It's so awful.
Jess, I think the depth of our friendship
It's so awful.
implies a call at any hour possible. An any hour policy.
It is now split screen with all 4 couples talking. All 4 characters talking.
Harry came over last night.
What's the matter?
I went over to Sally's last night.
It's yours.
Yeah, because I was upset that Joe was getting married.
And one thing led to another.
And he was comforting me. And before I knew it, we were kissing. And then
To make a long story short, we did it.
They did it. That's great, Sally.
We've been praying for it.
You should have done it in the first place.
For 4 months, we've been saying if only they would do it.
You belong together.
It'd be like killing 2 birds with 1 stone.
It's like 2 wrongs make a right.
That's great.
How was it?
How was it?
The doing it part was good.
I thought it was good,
But after I started feeling suffocated,
but then I guess it wasn't.
Jesus, I'm sorry.
The worst.
I wanted to get out of there.
It was like he just disappeared.
I feel terrible.
I'm so embarrassed.
You should feel terrible.
It's horrible.
I think I'm really coming down with something.
I think I'm catching a cold.
Look, it would have been great if it worked, but it didn't.
You should never go to bed with anyone
Tell me about it.
when you've just found out your last boyfriend is getting married.
Now you have a really cosmic mess on your hands.
I knew if I called you, you'd make me feel better.
It's always a mistake.
Who's that talking?
Who?
Is that Jess on the phone?
Oh, it's Jane Fonda on the VCR.
It's Bryant Gumbel.
Do you
Do you
want to
want to
come
come
over for breakfast?
I'm really not up for it.
I feel too awful.
Good.
Good. I mean, it's so early.
Look, call me later if you want to talk.
I'll call you later, okay?
Everyone hangs up. Sally and Harry vanish from the side of the screen, and we're left with just Marie and Jess. Marie looks
God,
I know.
tell me I'll never have to be out there again.
You'll never have to be out there again.
cut to Sally's bathroom. Sally is looking at herself in the mirror, putting on makeup.
I'll just say we made a mistake.
In Harry's bathroom, Harry is in the shower.
Sally, it was a mistake.
Sally's bathroom.
I just hope I get to say it first.
God. Oh no, they skipped the page again. My bad.
I hope she says it before I do.
At the restaurant at night, the waiter brings Harry and Sally drinks. Both of them take a gulp.
It was a mistake.
I'm so relieved you think so too. I'm not saying that last night wasn't a physically pleasurable sexual experience.
It was.
Yes, it was.
We never should have done it.
I couldn't agree more.
I'm so relieved.
Me too.
Harry and Sally are nodding. Well, that's that. The waiter brings them their salads. We hear the forks against the plates and nothing more. Silent.
It's so nice when you can sit with somebody and not have to talk. It just shows you're really comfortable with each other.
They continue eating in silence as we fade out and fade in to more documentary footage with another older couple on the love seat.
So what happened was, I went to the movies, a matinee of It Happened One Night. And just as the scene where Claudette Colbert hikes up her skirt to get a ride, the projector broke. If that projector did not break right then, I would never have made the 313 trolley heading home, which I was. And who should sit next to me but my friend Louise? Now she says to me, let's go get an ice cream at Walgreens. We always went to Walgreens. So when we get there, we sit down at the counter and I say that I want a black and white, which is a chocolate soda with vanilla ice cream. And you know what the guy says to me? He says, we're out of vanilla ice cream. Now, how can you be out of vanilla ice cream, right? So my friend Louise says, order something else, but my heart is set on this black and white. So we go over to Armstrong and Schroeder, where, I have never went in my whole life before or since. But anyway, there we are, drinking my black and white, when who should walk in but my brother's friend Stanley, who's just brought a new car, a Duesenberg. So he says, come on the street and see it. So there I am, looking at this car, when who should come up to me but this handsome man, who says, that's a beauty. What kind is it? And I says, a Duesenberg, I tells him. So if it wasn't for this broken projector, I would be sitting here talking to you alone.
I was just walking down the street.
What a cute scene. I should have kept that in.
Agreed.
Cut to Central Park. Harry and Jess are fast walking along.
It's just like most of the time you go to bed with someone and then she tells you all her stories, then you tell all your stories. But with Sally and me, we already heard each other's stories. So once we went to bed, we didn't know what we were supposed to do,
Sure, Harry.
I don't know. You get to a certain point in a relationship where maybe it's got too late to have sex, Sort of gross.
To a department store with Sally and Marie.
Is Harry bringing Emily to the wedding?
They broke up.
Is he seeing anyone?
He was seeing this anthropologist.
What does she look like?
Thin, pretty, big tits. Your basic nightmare. So what do you think?
Oh, Marie.
Tell me the truth.
It's just beautiful.
You don't think it's silly? I mean, white?
It's beautiful. It's so beautiful.
Sally's eyes start to well with tears, seeing Marie in her wedding dress.
It's just so beautiful.
Cut to Marie and Jess's wedding in the afternoon. It is a winter wedding with pine boughs and holly. Marie is in her wedding dress with a gorgeous bouquet of flowers coming through the door of a small banquet room with her father and Sally, who's the maid of honor. Chamber music quartet is playing something of Mozart. Harry looks at Sally as she comes down the aisle. Sally looks at him for a moment, then looks away. At the reception, a band is playing. Sally is talking to an older couple who have excused themselves, and as they do, we see Harry approach her.
Hi.
Hello.
Nice ceremony.
Beautiful.
Sally is clearly uncomfortable.
Boy, the holidays are rough. Every year I just try to get from the day before Thanksgiving to the day after New Year's.
A lot of suicides.
Would you like a pea pod with shrimp?
Thank you.
How have you been?
Fine.
How's everything with Julian?
Harry,
What?
I don't want to talk about this.
Okay. Is it because of what happened?
I don't want to talk about it.
Why can't we get past this? I mean, are we gonna carry this thing around forever?
Wherever, it just happened.
It happened 3 weeks ago. You know how a year to a person is like 7 years to a dog?
Yes. Is one of us supposed to be a dog in this scenario?
Yeah,
Who's the dog?
you are.
I am. I'm the dog.
Yes.
I'm the dog.
People are starting to notice the intensity of the conversation. Sally is really furious now. She starts toward a large screen that's a few feet from the end of the room, and thinking they can get some privacy, she goes behind it.
I don't see that, Harry. If anyone's a dog, you are the dog. To you, this is something that just happened, and you think you can say, great, it happened. Now let's get on with it. We'll go back to the way it was, like what happened didn't mean anything.
I'm not saying it didn't mean anything. I'm just saying, why does it have to mean everything?
Because it does. And you should know that better than anyone, because the minute it happens, you walk right out the door.
I didn't walk out the door.
No, sprinted is more like it.
But we both agreed it was a mistake.
Worst mistake I ever made.
They go through another door with waiters banging by with trays.
It's always the same. It's always the same. The minute you make love with somebody, the expectations start.
First of all, I'm not someone. Second of all, I don't expect anything from you, okay?
Bullshit. You expect me to know how to behave with you now.
You don't know how to behave anyway with me now, okay?
Fine, fine. Let's get one thing straight. I didn't go over there that night to make love to you. That's not why I went over there. What was I supposed to do? You looked at me with these big weepy eyes. Don't go home tonight, Harry. Hold me a little longer, Harry.
What are you saying? You took pity on me? Fuck you.
Sally slaps Harry across the face, then bursts out of the kitchen with a stunned Harry right behind her. At the wedding reception, the entire wedding party is assembled around the bandstand.
I'd like to propose a toast to Harry and Sally. To Harry and Sally, if Marie or I had find either of them remotely attractive, we would not be here today.
Marie takes her wedding bouquet and lobs it into the air straight at Sally. For a moment, we think that Sally isn't going to make a move for it. She's just going to let it land on the floor. But at the last moment, she reaches out and catches it. Cut to Christmas in New York. Everywhere you look, twinkly lights and happy children, people carrying home big presents, and Santa Claus is ringing bells. On 96th Street, it is a Christmas tree stand. Sally is carrying a Christmas tree home by herself. Sally it's very heavy, and to the top of it, she's dragging slightly behind. She's leaving a little trail of pine needles behind as she starts home, but she's going to carry this damn tree home if it kills her. Voiceover of Harry.
Hey, it's me. It's the holiday season. This doesn't happen to be my holiday, but I thought I might remind you that this is the season of forgiveness and charity. So if you felt like calling me back, I'd make me a very happy person.
Sally listens to her machine.
Hello. If you're there, please pick up the phone. I really want to talk to you.
And
I'll
Harry's
take this as a sign you're not home, or else you are home, or else you are home with that cretin you've been dating. And if he's there with you, please understand when I say cretin, I mean that in the best possible sense of the word.
Sally's apartment.
You there? No? Okay. Well, call me back.
Cut to a hot dog stand. Harry and Jess are stopped getting a hot dog.
Obviously, she doesn't want to talk to me. What do I have to be? What do I have to do? Be hit over the head? She wants to call me, she'll call me. I'm through making a schmuck of myself. If you're feeling sad and lonely, there's a service I can render. Tell the one who loves you only, I can be so warm and tender. So call me. Don't be afraid to just call moi. Maybe it's late, but just phone moi. Call me and I'll be around. Give me a call.
Sally just stares and finally picks up the phone.
Hi, Harry.
Hey, hi. I didn't think you were going to. Hi. What are you doing?
I was just on my way out.
Where are you going?
Oh my God. What do you want, Harry?
Nothing. I just called to say, what are you doing for New Year's? Are you going to the Tyler's party? Do you have a date? Because I don't have a date. And if you don't have a date, we always said if neither of us had a date on New Year's.
Harry, I can't do this anymore. I'm not your consolation prize. Goodbye, Harry.
Cut to Times Square at night. A tight shot of Dick Clark. We pull back to reveal Harry's apartment. Harry is lying in bed, eating pistachio nuts, watching Dick Clark's New Year's special on television.
What's so bad about this? You got Dick Clark, that's tradition. You have Malamar's, the greatest cookie of all time. And you're about to give the Knicks their first championship since 1973.
Harry aims a wadded piece of paper at the wastebasket but misses. He looks back at the television set. His mind drifts, and we push to his face. We see New Year's Eve a year earlier. Harry and Sally are dancing. Harry dips Sally, and Sally is laughing. We hear her voice.
Do you think the fact that we're friends is keeping us from finding someone?
Yes. So I think we should stop being friends and go home right now and make love.
You don't mean that. You know you don't mean that.
Harry is thinking about what just went through his mind.
Air. Air would be good right now.
Cut to a New Year's Eve party. It's a great big party, just like the one we were at a year earlier. The mirrored ball is twirling and twinkling. Sally is dancing with a tall man and he dips her. She's appalled. Upright again, she catches Marie's eye and the tall man swoops her about the floor. Marie is dancing with Jess.
I don't know why I let you drag me into this.
Cut to Harry walking down a New York street past shop windows.
This is good. This is good. New Year's resolution number 1, I got to do this more often. I can catch up on my window shopping. All the fun and none of the expense.
He passes a couple. The woman is laughing. We see Harry and Sally in the Temple Danger. Pepper, pepper, pepper. Sally is laughing. Over it we hear.
I think you should wear skirts more. You look really good in skirts.
I do?
Yeah.
Harry is even more agitated by his thoughts now. He walks into an ice cream store. At the New Year's Eve party, Sally is laughing merrily at a joke some man has just told her. When Marie passes by, Sally turns her face quickly toward Marie, and her face shows anguish.
I'm going home.
You'll never get a taxi.
Sally turns back to the man who told the joke and begins laughing again. On Washington Square, Harry is walking along the same place he was dropped off by Sally 11 years ago. He has an ice cream in his hand.
This was a good move. It's 10 degrees out, and the wind chill factor in my mouth is a million below, and I'm eating ice cream. A wise choice.
He dumps the ice cream in the trash can. He stops and looks up at the arch, and we see the scene in Washington Square 11 years ago. Harry and Sally were saying goodbye and shaking hands awkwardly.
Well, I guess we're not going to be friends then. Too bad. You were the only person I knew in New York. Have a nice life.
Harry is back in reality, thinking about what just happened in his mind. He feels the cold and turns his collar up, then starts walking slowly away from the arch. We stay with Harry as his pace starts to quicken, and finally he ends up running down the street. At the New Year's Eve party, it's almost midnight. Balloons, confetti, the mirrored ball. The excitement in the room builds as we approach midnight. We see Sally with a group of friends, including Jess and Marie.
I'm going.
It's almost midnight.
I can't stand the thought of not kissing somebody.
Oh, big deal. I'll kiss you.
Thanks, Jess, but I have to go.
Harry is running, looking for a cab. He can't find one. He keeps running. At the party, Sally is at the closet, putting on her coat. Harry is running down the street. Sally is kissing Jess and Marie goodbye.
Just wait 2 minutes.
I'll call you tomorrow.
He turns to go, and she stops when she is stopped dead in her tracks. It's Harry. Slowly, he comes towards her and stops in front of her.
I've been doing a lot of thinking, and the thing is, I love you.
What?
I love you.
How do you expect me to respond to this?
How about you love me too?
How about I'm leaving?
Doesn't what I say mean anything to you?
What is it supposed to mean? I'm sorry, Harry. I know it's New Year's Eve and I know you're feeling lonely, but you can't just show up here and tell me you love me and expect that to make it all right. I mean, what am I supposed to say? Great, Harry, you love me. That settles everything. Now we can go waltz off into the sunset together. It doesn't work this way.
Well, how does it work?
I don't know, but not this way.
How about this way? How about I love how you get cold when it's 62 degrees out. I love the way your mouth turns down just a little bit right there. I love how it takes you an hour and a half to order a sandwich. I even love when you use my sweater for a Kleenex. I love it when you get a little crinkle in between your eyes and when you think I'm nuts. And I love it that after spending the day with you, I can still smell your perfume on my clothes. And I love how you're the last person I want to talk to before I go to sleep at night. It took me 11 years to figure this out. And I came here tonight because when you realize you want to spend the rest of your life with someone, you want the rest of your life to start as soon as possible.
See, that's just like you, Harry. You say things like that and you make it impossible for me to hate you. And I hate you. Hate you, Harry. I hate you.
She starts to cry, and Harry puts his arms around her, and they kiss, a long kiss. The twinkling ball is now twinkling, and they continue kissing. Auld Lang Syne continues in the background.
My whole life, I've never known what this song means.
I know exactly what you mean.
I mean, should all acquaintance be forgot? Does that mean we should forget all acquaintances? Or does it mean if we do happen to forget them, we should remember them, which is not possible because we forgot them?
Maybe you're just supposed to remember that you forgot them or something. Anyway, it's about old friends.
They kiss again, and as the camera pulls back, we hear Harry in voiceover.
The first time we met, we hated each other.
You didn't hate me, I hated you. The second time we met, he didn't even remember me.
I did too. I remembered you. The third time we met, we became friends.
We were friends for a long time.
And then we weren't.
And then we fell in love.
2 months later, we got married.
It was a beautiful wedding
Yeah, we had this incredible coconut cake.
with a very rich chocolate sauce on the side.
Yeah, because everybody, not everybody likes the sauce right on top of the cake. It can get soggy.
And as they continue, we fade out the end.
Yeah.
Bravo.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks.
Zoomed through that.
Thank you.
That was
That was
wonderful. Thank you,
fun.
Jeff, for doing that.
Yeah.
Jeremy.
So
Jeremy,
good.
kudos on the props there with the sandwich and grapes.
Wow.
Got it.
That was
Amazing.
There you go.
Grapes, sandwich, running.
Yo, I love this movie so much.
We know.
Apparently.
We noticed you ad-libbing the correct lines. So
Yes, thank you for fixing the lines.
That incest thing in there. What was that?
yeah, that was a little dark.
Nora Ephron or Andrew Scheinman.
Actually, I before she died, if I may, I was at Greenblatt's on Sunset Boulevard or Sunset in Hollywood, 2010, and I was at lunch, and Nora Ephron was behind me, in the booth behind me, and I didn't know it was her. I was talking to my friend, and I heard somebody ordering a sandwich that sounded like the way Sally orders her sandwich, and I was like,
yeah.
and I turned around and I'm like, that's Nora Ephron. And she actually ordered her food that way. It was crazy.
That's
That's
really
awesome.
cool.
Yeah.
That's what they say. That's what I've heard is Rob Reiner says that he got that for Sally because that's how Nora Ephron used to be.
Accurate.
So funny.
Did you guys see Rob Reiner in Hollywood?
Yes.
Oh, the miniseries. Yeah.
Mhm.
One of the few